Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Friday. How's everyone doing? Thank you for putting in all the data from this morning, Sterling. Hope you're doing well. I did not see that Tesla increased the Model Y performance in China $2,000. Where else we got going on? We had the PCE numbers going out. We had personal income, personal spending. We'll get to those in a minute. Good morning, Patrick. How else? Let's see who else. Richard. How's Walter? And is he getting ready for Christmas with a new tune, or is he going for an encore? Who is Walter? What am I missing? Please tell me what I'm missing. Because it's still a Friday, so I'm unwinding already. I want this weekend to be here. It's been an exhausting week. So no comment on monetary policy from Barr. Let's see. Good morning, Royal Palms. Hey, Amit. Thank you for tuning in. If you get a touch on a line, monthly, yeah, we'll get to that. Hey, Dubai, the World Traveler Options 22. Hope your trip overseas is going fantastic. Thank you for tuning in. Good morning, Royal Palms. Good morning, Tony. Patience will be our friend today. I agree. He's Walter, my mascot. Walter, my mascot. What? Oh, that's Walter. Well, I know Walter passed away. So we have Walter will sing Christmas tunes from Doggy Heaven. I didn't know that you meant Walter. I was thinking it might be something else, but Walter has passed and is singing Christmas songs from Doggy Heaven. So we always miss Walter. It's actually his birthday. His birthday is he was born on Halloween too. So we still celebrate sort of his birthday because it's on Halloween. So we have to remember that every year. So yes, but we can celebrate him, and he sang Jingle Bells for Christmas, and remember we get to celebrate him with all the trick or treaters next week. That he won. He hated that doorbell. But we still have five rescue dogs, five rescues, so they take up plenty of our time and attention. They do. We got plenty of dogs to celebrate with. Plenty of dogs to celebrate with. So, I mean, we've got we have Roscoe. There's Roscoe. We'll just do and we have Smokey. There's little Smokey all the way from South Korea from a meat market farm. We have Legend with Moses in the background. There's Legend in the front, Moses in the background. So we got plenty of dogs still to celebrate with. And where is Stella Blue? I gotta find Stella Blue. Hold on. If you're wondering where that name came from, where is Stella Blue? I'll have to find a picture of her. Oh well. We'll save that for another time. Sorry to interrupt with the doggies. A dead cat bounce for Walter. Walter did not like kitties. Walter did not like kitties. All right. So roughly all the PCE numbers were in line, except for month over month was a little higher, printing 0.4 instead of 0.3. And in line, I mean, as expected, it ticked down from the previous. Personal spending was at 0.7, but personal income at 0.3. So personal income coming in between forecast and consensus. Personal spending is beating, but I think the consumer is really draining itself. We shall see. We shall see moving forward. Consumer sentiment numbers coming out 30 minutes after the cash open. And keep looking at the consumer's expectation for 5-year inflation expectations and the short-term inflation expectations. Those are the two key numbers I will be watching, along with the current conditions and everything else. So then we just have rig counts. So that will wrap up today. So far, Amazon, which beat on earnings, was not impressed with the web services numbers, but still, based off how beat up everything's been on, it's bouncing. Tesla bouncing today. Chips are bouncing. Everything NVIDIA tested the key level, but did not close below it yesterday. So that's where we sit in terms of groups. We have consumer, cyclical, and technology leading. Remember, we also had energy reporting today. There's a number of misses on energy, though. CVX down. Exxon missed, but is still holding flat. So we shall see with that. Fear and greed still in fear mode. Still in fear mode. So again, we had earnings today. Intel was also, they did nicely on a beat yesterday and should be gapping up nicely today. So we could get some chip rallies with sympathy for Intel. There's Stella barking in the background. Now, looking out the front window, I can already tell. All right, so where do we sit? Thank you, Sterling. I did not see that. Buffett bought more. Oxy. Looking now, yesterday we had those mini 15 doubles, which then rolled over. This is not a double, by the way, here. The key area I'm watching, going to bump this level slightly down from yesterday. 4187, but then above that, I'm looking at 4200. 4187 to 4200, I'm watching. We have to really plow through that. Remember how I looked at the tick yesterday? Remember right at the open, I said that did not open strong and then it rolled over. Pay attention to the tick again today on any up move. Make sure it stays strong and supported of any rally. Otherwise, I will watch for a rollover play between that 4187 and 4200. Above there, if we can get above 4200, there's still a gap left behind between Wednesday night close and still technically another Wednesday night open, but between the close and the futures open. So that would be the next target area I would be utilizing, right around 4210 area. It's technically 4211, but you can see all the prior support shelf becoming resistance. So that would be the next target I would utilize to the upside. But we are coming off of, in the short term, trying to put a bottom in on cycles. Trying it, the divergence was invalidated with yesterday's, but trying to get something. Now keep in mind, and a lot of this, I know people have seen this thing, nothing good happens below the 200. So here's the 200. We are technically below it. So any bounce, could we bounce back to 200? Yeah, easily. But it would then be into the rotation zone to declining 200, also on the weekly basis. On the weekly basis, why is that on the 5-minute chart? On the weekly basis, we have the declining rotation zone and the hooking over 50 on the weekly basis. So there is a lot of heavy lifting to do for this market to really get anything more than a bounce in the short term going. We do not have a strong bottoming pattern yet. So we shall see. Also, remember, intermediate sell signal triggered last Friday. So I'm watching for rollover plays on any bounces. Now, if we roll over into the open, watching for the key support coming in about 41.54 to 41.57. We break below that. The only harmonics I can do for a projection right now, because we don't have a longer term pausing bar, would take me down to 41.28 and 41.10. And remember, from the sloppy head and shoulders, the target is 41.01, which I will still be looking for possibly next week, possibly later next week, if we get a bounce today. So that is exactly how I am setting up the levels today. Hello, Christoph. Good morning, Anissa. Thank you for tuning in. As always, I really appreciate it. Listen to me ramble on. NASDAQ, which we have the gap up in the futures due to Amazon earnings. So keep in mind, right here, this is a pretty key level, this 14,345. We get above 14,345. We still technically we did not fill the gap yesterday morning with the spike up early morning yesterday. We did not fill it. So we still have a technical gap fill to 14,467.75. So keep that in mind. If we break above this 14,343, 14,342. Please confirm with the tick, though, or the tick Q, the whatever it is for the NASDAQ. Some platforms have tick Q, some have tick N. So I confirm that, but we could see some strength, especially we got Tesla, we got Amazon bouncing. Microsoft sold off yesterday, but could be at least trying to get a little strength in here. So watch for that to the upside. To the downside, I am using my retracement harmonics. So if it sells off into the open, 14,240 roughly, then 14,216.50, and then 14,191. If we sell below 14,191, I'll be watching for the mini double to set up going into next week. And you see here how he came back down yesterday right in front of the next core little harmonic. So those are pretty much done. The only thing I can do going forward, if we were to tank into the open for some reason, the next major area is 14,070 to about 14,060 to 70. And remember, even though we're holding against the 200 area, so the NASDAQ isn't below the 200 yet, any rally would be into the rotation zone and the prior break of major support, where I'd be looking for the rollover play potentially. So I'll get to your comment in a second, Chris, of Dow. Resistance, I'm just going to go through this from a higher level. Resistance is about 33,070, 60 to 70, and then 33,165. Support coming in about 32,850. If we break below yesterday's low, we got a major support level at 32,673. The Russell, which actually was an up close yesterday, so far trying to get out of some oversold condition. The major resistance area I'm watching here is about 1690. All right, but I will keep using in the short term the harmonics. These harmonics. See, coming up to 62.5, reversing down, pulling up there again, reversing. So we really need to get above 1675 and then tackle 1681 on at least a 1 hour closing basis for more of any bullish case. The support levels 1662 and 1655, and then a retest of the low area. And again, if you're going to do something here, the minor levels will just be the reverse harmonics, 1641, 1645, 1641. The VIX, still keep an eye on 20. If we get a stronger tick and we roll down below 20, I'll watch for more of those higher resistance levels. If we hover around the 20, I'm not going to get overly bullish and watch for more of the resistance levels holding and rollover plays. The DAX does on a daily basis. And the 4 hour basis would be more aggressive. But we do have the double. So all you DAX traders, potential double needs a close above 1520. 1520. So that's the little thing in there. And that's against the rotation zone. And I would really focus on this first target. Do not ignore the first target area if the DAX can bounce and get up there, because it's against the rotation zone and the prior breakdown zone with the first target. So that's the little DAX. The notes still have a potential double in play on a daily basis, a close above 106.22. That's all I need to say about that. The yield still has a little double top in play. None of these have triggered. They might not trigger. We rotate back up, they're going to be invalidated. But that's what I'm still keeping an eye on there. The bear steepener is back in play. Minus 8.5 basis points going into the open. So this is getting close to zero. Dollar index still chopping around, still trying to hold this key support. 105.95 is a key support I'm watching today. If we start breaking below that, then I'll be watching for another pullback into this lower support area. Crude, which Christoph had a Potential 4-hour double bottom against upward sloping trend line drawn through lows of October 6th and 12th. Very specific. I like that specificity. Against upward sloping trend line from, let's just see, against upward slope. Perfect. The 6th and the 12th. Where is that? There. I see that. I see exactly what you're looking at. So you got that. So it need a close above 885.59. Now, if it rotates back down, you notice 83.50, 83.45. It's going to turn more into a triple. It could even get down to 83.26. But I just keep in mind it to turn into either a horizontal or a multi-bottom down there. But that is still technically valid. And we'll have to keep an eye on that. It's been a lot of buying pressure still. This 82.50 to 83 has been a lot of buying pressure. Almost dinner time overseas. When are you coming back? When are you coming back, options 22? When are you back in the good old US of A? My chart is backwards adjusted activated. Okay. And it's still fine. Yeah, that's for the. It's going to change the trend line, but it's not going to change the double. Double's going to be exactly the same. Natty Gas, big jump up in Natty Gas with a strong rally yesterday. So Natty Gas still strengthening. Now keep in mind we have this very long area. So you got the first cross rotation zone back above. If Natty Gas for futures traders can really start holding a base above about 333, all right. Now this could backfill again, but really start watching. This is a weekly clear path move, and the breakdown zone is 495. You see, this is when we talk about a longer base. Nice long base, forming a higher base. So we had the lower base, forming a higher base, big sideways, breaking out, coming back down, retesting, and now breaking out again. So keep an eye on this. This has really formed a very structural long-term base into a weekly clear path move. So do some more analysis on that if you're a Natty Gas trader. Gold still has a potential double top in play. It's the only thing I'm keeping an eye on now. What else do we have? The 10 years, the JGBs, 87.5. The yen broke through that 150 yesterday and coming back to test the support line right now. But this does not look like any major intervention yet. So keeping an eye on that still. The choppy euro channeling double is still in play. No close below that 62.5. Pound has nothing besides a triple bottom formation. Spiders. Let's just get to the spiders and the Qs. Spiders hitting the second double target yesterday. So remember, we still have one to go, 406.58. Today, pre-market 414.49. Look at on any rally, watch the open. First, the open from yesterday, 416.45. Then my next target area is 417.55 to about 418.25. I'm using a target area for there. And on a continued rally, even into next week, you have a breakdown zone right here and the 37.5 harmonic, the declining daily rotation zone, and the overhead resistance. So 421.57. Those are the targets even carrying into next week. In the short-term basis, I'm not going to go through the super minor targets, but the other targets would be if we break down. Remember, we do have, if you see here, also you can utilize these. This is a valid double you see here. All right, you can use these for other key targets to the upside. On a hourly close above 415.93. See, here's that remaining gap behind that I looked at. There's the first target with the gap. And remember I said that target area up to 418.25, there's a key target area. Then if you keep going, in front of the breakdown zone, I would use this 419.57. Now to the downside, you break below yesterday's lows. You're looking at 409.95 to about 410.25 is the next key target. Exactly how I'd set that up. On the Qs, we're going to use our retracement harmonics. And I'm going first off the minor swing. All right, especially the 62.5 is right in front of the break. See, here we have the breakdown zone right around here. And it pretty much lines up at the 62.5. So today, key levels, 346.75, 348.95. And then you have the gap down open, which was 350.07. So 348.95 to 350.07. The gap, the fill has not happened. The gap fill, 350.34. And then 351.13. Those are the levels key there. The key closing level, at least in the short term, is about 353.15. All right. Other key areas to watch for on the Qs. See, this is a valid double. And I'd still use the conservative targets. And so we have, with the double, 348.9, the same 348.95 area, same level as I said. We got a cluster there, 349.80, and then a cluster at 350.75. So there you go. Sunday the 20th. Oh, you're overseas for a long time. All right, what else was I asked to look at? Let's just, I know there's a couple other things. Real quick, NVIDIA closed right at this key level yesterday. Technically a low close, but bouncing back. I am now watching for the rollover plays. This technically triggered the head and shoulders yesterday. Let me see. Align. Then I'll get to some other things. Yeah, Liner Co. With their big earnings miss, people cutting back on that. But here we go. With that close below the 62.5 before earnings, look, it even gap below the 87.5. What's next? What is next? Well, it would be a retest this low area down to 172. If we break below that, it's now below that 87.5 from before, 176. And then let's just see also with the reverse harmonics. Let's see if we can get any clusters in here. But this is not super good for a line. Yeah, we're looking. I'd use 141.91 if you really start breaking below these 172 lows. On any rally, you know, it's got a lot of heavy lifting to do. So I'd use the harmonics if you're looking for any bullish case. 215.40. Well, first would be about 205, then 215 would be the levels. What else do we have? What else do I have? I'll get Tesla. Tesla, still we have a mini little double bottom. Mini little double now against the rotation zone. I don't know if this will ever trigger, but that's the only bullish thing that takes it actually to this lower breakdown zone right here. Look at this. So you need a daily close above 222.05, 230.64, 240, 234.93, 239.22 against the rotation zone. So a lot of weakness. And remember, this triggered the long-term double top. I'm seeing if it triggers today on the daily basis. I mean the weekly basis. So as long as it closes below 212.36 on a weekly basis, although if it's an up close, it's technically the lower probability trigger against the 200. So could we get a bounce here? Yeah. Next rollover play could be brutal for Tesla. But that's what I'm keeping an eye on right there. If it's going to break down below this about 202 level, remember 200 to 202 is going to be very key. Below that, we got about 196 and then 189. What else have I missed? Affirm. I have not looked at Affirm in a long time. Looking like it wants to break down with weekly upwards trend line. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Yeah, especially if you get a weekly close below there. Look at that, from the rally back to the 50%. To the 50%. Let's just see where this takes us roughly. Yeah, you get a close below there. It really, once you give up 15.11, I'd say we'd retest that low area from May. And that's another one that if the consumer's rolling over, that could start getting hit pretty hard. Uber. Yeah, that's a very nice double top on the weekly basis. It could definitely be played on a bounce. It could definitely be played on a bounce into the daily rotation zone. Let's just see on the short-term harmonics. Yeah, right around. Be keeping an eye on something about 42.50, 42.80. A bounce into there could be really nice with a rollover play, potentially. So yeah, keep an eye on that because it triggered a longer term, pretty significant double top. Second target is actually along with the weekly 200. So yeah, I'd definitely be watching for the next rollover play in that. And since it has, you could, if you're raising the stop aggressively on that, the stop right now would be 45.97, worst case scenario on a closing basis. So this could rally back to even the breakdown area from the double, the trigger area that I look at. Remember, right in here between this low that triggered it and this, and it'd still be completely stop safe right at that 37.5 harmonic. All right, let's just take a look. Sorry, I ran off into the open. Let's just take a look at the open and the tick real quick. Well, that's a pretty quiet open. Wow. It's a very quiet open. See? This is what I'm talking about. Just be careful from the bullish case. You see, yesterday afternoon, how it finally started spiking up above this 1,000 again? You know, right, remember yesterday morning how we opened pretty much in that same range right here? See? We spiked up a couple times, but look at the weakness in the tick. It could not get anything going. And then it, you know, so keep an eye on that. We really need some pops that sustain above 800 before I'll really get into anything but minor support and choppy. Okay, I mean, there's a lot of resistance up here, this 4183 area, a lot of support down to 4165, so it needs to really show me something before I can get overly bearish or overly bullish. That's the analysis, the real quick analysis based off the open. All right, thank you everyone for tuning in. I will see you next week. Everyone have a fantastic day and a fantastic weekend. Bye for now.